Hi guys, it's Gina. I have something a little bit different for you today. I actually made a card, which is odd for me. My lovely niece Madison broke a bone in her foot, and her mother posted on Facebook a photo of her on crutches, so I was feeling so sad for her. So I decided to make a card, and I am not a card maker. I used to make cards all the time, but I'm not very good at it, and I want to get better. So that's part of this. So I started with cardstock from Paper Tray Ink. I love their cardstock. And I used Versamark and an old Inka-Dinka-Doo polka dot stamp to stamp on the back of that background. And then I'm going to use some clear embossing powder that has some glitter in it. And I'm going to emboss these dots on the front to make it a little bit glittery. I cut my card base down to 8.5 by 4 1/4. No? Is that right? No. By 5.5 by 4 1/4. That is the size of my card, yes. So you take an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock, as you guys I'm sure know. You just cut that in half in whichever orientation you want your card to open. So here I am just embossing all of those cute little dots on the front of the card. And I want to get back into card making, but I want to have some like cards on hand that I can just send out when stuff like this happens, so I don't have to like rush home and make a card. I was actually home yesterday when I made this, so it went in the mail last night, so hopefully she'll get it soon. And then I'm taking this set of stamps, and I think that the cling stamps are from, I want to say they're from the paper company from Hobby Lobby. And then the sentiment stamps that I'm going to use on the inside of the card, I'm using Versamark again. Those are from Lawn Fawn. And I'm going to use white embossing powder on the inside of the card to put the sentiment that says "Sending hugs, get well soon." So I'm going to and then I'm just going to go ahead and heat emboss that. And you always see me put my hand in front of my heat emboss gun, in front of my heating tool before I start it. I like to make sure that it's warm before I put it towards my my embossing powder, because I find that sometimes it'll blow the embossing powder off if it's not already hot and ready to melt that powder. So I'm using this Thinking of You stamp. Like I said, I think that's from the paper company, but all the supplies will be on my blog, so you guys can head over there if you're really interested. Both of these stamp sets are very old. Like I said, I haven't made cards in a very long time, so I haven't bought any like card sentiment kind of stamps in a long time. So they're very old stamps. And I just used some temporary adhesive on the back of that stamp because it wasn't sticking to the block. And then I used this neon ink from Hero Arts, and I just tested it on a little bit of that white cardstock, because when I opened it, it looked very different than either the little swatch they put on the top or my cardstock. So I was a little worried about that. But after I just tested it a little bit, the color was fine. I decided to just cut this out just with my scissors. No big deal. It's a rectangle, and even it's a little off, but it doesn't have to be perfect. These are handmade crafts. So I'm just cutting that off, and then I'm going to struggle a little bit with what to do. I'm going to actually put this Thinking of You down, and I wanted to use that wood button like thing from American Crafts, but that actually does not end up on the card at all. I'm just fiddling around here with where I want to put that sentiment, making sure or trying to make sure that it's straight. I pulled out those Prima flowers that you see there that I thought about using, and then I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, but if you do, you would have seen that I'm Gina Beth 1 on Twitter, I believe. But anyway, I have this set of flowers sitting on my desk because they don't fit on my Clip It Up. I just recently moved all my flower packages to my Clip It Up, and these don't fit. Not in the circular way, but in the length way, because I have like 6 or 7 hoops on my floor model Clip It Up, and they don't fit lengthwise. They're too tall. So if I don't use them by the end of the week, I'm getting rid of them. So I toyed with the idea of putting these 3 flowers. These are Martha Stewart flowers. So I went from the Prima ones to the Martha Stewart flowers. And I toyed with the idea a little bit of putting them in a diagonal pattern down the card, and then I realized, no, I think I need some cardstock. I wanted to do a tone-on-tone card, but it wasn't working out for me. I felt that it was pretty boring. So I went to my scraps of pink paper, and I found this plaid-like print, and she's 9, so she's into all those bold prints and those crazy colors and things like that. So I thought this was very appropriate for her. And I'm going to use my Distress ink here in Black Soot, not to make it distressed or grungy or anything, but just to kind of, the edges of that paper were white. because it's white core paper. It's very cheap card. It's not even cardstock. It's like pattern paper. It's very inexpensive, very lightweight paper. So the sides of that paper were white. So I wanted to just add a little bit of depth around them and get rid of that white on the sides there. So that's why I did that. And now I'm looking through the flowers and the things that I have left, and I thought about using these Prima flowers, and I decide not to, and then the Prima flowers won't fit, so I decide that I may just put the Thinking of You, I may move it just over and cut it off. Here I'm looking for my Wink of Stella pen from Faber-Castell. I think that's who makes them. Or is it a Zig? It may be a Zig writer. I just purchased them from Joann's, actually. Joann's was having a sale, so... And don't mind my hair. My camera angle is obviously off again, so I'll have to get that fixed. But my hair is kind of a mess right now anyway, because I haven't been to the salon in a couple weeks. So we're going next Wednesday, so we're going to fix it. There I'm trying to show you how the Wink of Stella looks. I just used the Wink of Stella to go through the lines, the dotted lines in the plaid pattern there, because I thought that it just needed some bling. I mean, it's a little girl, you know? It just needed some, what do you call that? It just needs some sparkle. There you go. And then here is a final look at the card. So, like I said, I'm not a card maker. This is something that was very simple, but I think the sentiment is nice, and, you know, she'll enjoy getting the mail. And that is that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little bonus video, and I will be back soon with another one. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.